Smack talking raw, where the legends live and the rookies get schooled in law. This ain't just talk. This is smack talking raw. You ready, Pinky? Judge always Ron. Let's lay the smack down. Boom.
What is up? It's another episode of Smack Talking Raw. I'm your boy Pinky.
And I'm your boy Ronstradamus. And unfortunately, we're having technical difficulties, which caused us to be a little bit late in getting started today. But I'm here in the background. The show must go on. So here we are. Pinky, talk to me.
Well, sorry, ladies. You're going to have to just look at this ugly mug. You don't get to see sexy Ron tonight. But we'll get it fixed. Promise. We've got a lot to cover, Ron, so we're going to get moving. I got to ask, you said you had a topic you wanted to start the show with. Hit me up. What you got?
You know, we're part of the Sports Nonsense and Whiskey brand. And today we're going to talk a little bit about championships and greatness real quick. So I'm going to start off the show today. Really just, I'm going to punch you in the face, Pinky, to start off. There's three champions that I think about when I think about great champions. And I'm going to identify a professional basketball player to go associated with them at the same time. So as a part of the Sports Nonsense and Whiskey brand, here we go. So in the wrestling world, it's really well defined that the two greatest champions of all time are Nature Boy Ric Flair and the greatest of all time, John Cena. Those two, without a doubt, are the two best champions of all time, hands down. And then when it comes to the third, I would think right now in this era, you would throw in Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns' title that he ran for almost 4 years, carrying the company on his shoulders, etc. And so one of the things that I just wanted to bring up is that all three of those people are unidentifiable, as undeniable, the champions of all times, like great champions. So when you go to the NBA, there's always a debate on who's the greatest of all time. And in my opinion, there's no debate about who's the greatest of all time because hands down, 100% without a doubt, Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. He has 6 championships, left the sport of basketball, played baseball, came back. He's been an ambassador for the sport, incredible talent. It's undeniable he's the greatest of all time. The second greatest of all time is Kobe Bean Bryant of the Los Angeles Lakers. If you go back and you watch the footage of his commitment and what people said about him over time, one of the things, right, that's true. Randy Orton is one of the greatest of all time as well. However, as far as like the greatest, Randy Orton doesn't sell tickets. Randy Orton has a great pedigree of being a third generation wrestler, and he's somebody that will definitely give you a great show, great characterization, etc. But as far as being a top guy in the business, whatever, he's definitely in the top 10 to 15 ever, but not in the top 5 or top 3 as we're talking about today. So Kobe Bean Bryant sits at number 2. And then you have LeBron James. LeBron James, he's a great player, but every time that he's won a championship, he had to go and get a super team of some sort in order to accomplish said championships that he had. He on his own never manifested a championship for his team by himself. So Michael Jordan, when he first came into the league, his biggest challenge was the Boston Celtics. He couldn't get past Bird, McHale, Robert Parrish, Danny Ainge, Dennis Johnson. He couldn't get past those guys. It was 1-on-5. Then he started getting some talent. He got Scottie Pippen, and he went out and kicked butt, right? That reminds me a lot of Nature Boy Ric Flair. When I was growing up, I was a Horseman fan. And Ric Flair was great by himself, but the thing that happened is that until he got the Four Horsemen, that's where he was able to lie, eat, and chill, and he made himself into an incredible overall performer as opposed to somebody that was just out there winning titles, that sort of thing. Kobe Bryant, in his era, you got people like John Cena, and John Cena is the greatest of all time. And I don't want to put Kobe into that specter, but during the time where Kobe played, he played against some great ball players. He had a chance to play against Hakeem Olajuwon. He got to play against David Robinson and Tim Duncan, which every year that was a channel that he had to go through in order to get to the NBA Finals. It was going to be the Lakers and the Spurs all the time in that regard. Then he had Hakeem Olajuwon if the Spurs didn't make it. Then, not to mention, at the end, he had either Allen Iverson, he had Shaquille O'Neal a year. He had he didn't have Shaquille. He had Dwight Howard a year, etc. So he had to really go through and make this happen. And lastly, you had Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns is more like LeBron. He plays in a watered down version of the WWE. He gets to flop around and play when he wants to play, etc. And that's one of the things that turns me off about Roman Reigns' title reign and his ultimate legacy is that he won a couple of championships, yes, but at the end of the day, he had to cheat, and everybody got so bored of what it is that he put on the product. And so the same thing I can say about LeBron is the same thing I can say about Roman Reigns. The same thing I say about John Cena, I can say that about hustle, loyalty, and respect. Kobe Bryant, John Cena, Ric Flair, and Michael Jordan, greatest of all time. Just two North Carolina boys out there making it happen. So the reason why I bring this up, Pinky, is because me and you've been arguing about greatest of all times, and now you can kind of see a little bit of the tie-in to all of this is that wrestling mimics NBA in a lot of regards. And I could go down the line because I sat here and I looked at all the different great players at times, but those are just the top three. So my argument is undisputable that when it comes to championships and when it comes to pedigree, those three right there, I could throw The Rock in at number 3 too. Rock is all glitz and glamour, but as far as like making a needle move with regards to his championship reigns, not so much. So LeBron is not a top 2. He's a 3 at best. Okay, I'm done. There's my rant.
You know, I don't hate that at all. I don't know if I'd even argue that. I think I think that's spot on, Ron. Spot on. And that kind of brings up one of the topics. One of the main things I wanted to talk about was Roman Reigns is back, so that'll be a good lead in. But I gotta say, I got back into wrestling pretty hard, maybe halfway through Roman Reigns' reign. And what really turned me off was the consistent. He only wrestled on PLEs. And every time he won, somebody had to come help him. He never won clean. And that's fine unless you're trying to present this aura of domination. I'm the most dominant champ. I'm unbeatable. I'm the man. Well, if that's the case, why has everybody got to come help you all the time? Why you need this bloodline behind you?
Exactly. So, to your point about that, he came back on Monday night, and one of the things that the sizzle provided is that there was a little bit of a bump in the audience reaction when the tribal chief came back. So the one thing I will advocate for is, if nothing else, he puts butts in seats, right? So same thing as LeBron. He puts butts in seats, but his overall character and characterization is meh at best.
Meh. Yeah, I'm indifferent to LeBron for most of the time, unless I'm watching one of his games where someone sneezed on him and they called a foul. I mean, other than that. So, but I get pretty annoyed by that. When you watch LeBron play, it's just, you're like, and then again, him crying all the time. So it's Cody the Steph Curry to Roman. Probably no, not yet.
Well, not yet.
Steph Curry and we've talked about this on the Sports Nonsense and Whiskey flagship show. Steph Curry is wildly underrated. He is definitely arguably a top 10 player of all time. You could make the case he's a top 5. I don't think it's much of an argument to say he's the best shooter of all time.
Best shooter, hands down, 100%.
So,
yeah, one of the things I would say about Steph Curry, he could be in the top 7. There's some people that I would put ahead of him but his shooting ability is just it's unrealistic. Like, he's not a real human. He can shoot from anywhere on the court and be wide open and make that shot. So, great question, IB2406 for sure. Great question.
So Roman Reigns is back. And then that leads me to that next question, Ron. Tell the people, how long is Roman going to be back for?
I think that Roman has maximum 2 years. That's his ceiling, is 2 years, because he's starting to get more opportunities out in Hollywood. His body with the leukemia scare and everything like that is one of the things he has to take care of himself in a good way. And the pounding that the WWE schedule provides to him is just really, really tough on his body. I really don't like me not being on camera, by the way, Pinky, because I get to look at you the whole time. Usually I'm looking at me.
Trust me. The fans don't like it either, Ron. I'm telling you.
But yeah, you know what, Roman, but for what Roman is, he's entertaining. He's somebody that really makes an impact in regards to the seats and the butts and seats thing. And so, you got to give it the devil his due. And very similar to LeBron. LeBron might not like him, but he does some pretty fantastic things on the court, including taking 5 steps to get to a dunk or a layup or whatever that is too. So there's that.
I mean, that's common, but a lot of folks do that. So I'm not going to bash LeBron to be one of the 10, 20,000 people that do 5 steps before they dunk. With Roman, let me ask this question of you. So we talk a lot about booking, right? That's one of the things that we talk about. And I hate that we have to talk about it so often, right? Because it'd be nice if we didn't have to. We just expect, hey, the guys are doing the right things. They're putting the right stories together. Everything's great. But with the Roman Reigns, as we saw last night on Raw, comes out battling against Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. I don't know if you saw Roman's post from earlier today.
I did not. What did it say? So
he was working out and he was talking some shit. And he basically mentioned that these young guys want to say they're the guys, they're the future. Well, you got to make moments, you got to capture the moment. And so he issued a challenge to see if Jey Uso would like to join him in a SummerSlam match against Braun and Bronson Reed.
That seemed like that's what was going to happen based upon the events of last night. Okay.
So does this move the needle at all?
No. Roman Reigns, see, the reason why the story doesn't make sense is because Roman Reigns has been champion now off and on for the last 4 consecutive years. And so to automatically relegate him to a insignificant tag team match on a big pay-per-view, it just diminishes the other 2 that are coming up, because it's like Roman's going down the ladder while these other guys are going up. So where do you want your people to meet people at? You want to meet them at the top. You want Braun Breaker to beat Roman Reigns for the title. You want to maybe Roman and Jey, they win the tag team titles, and then Braun and Bronson, Braun and Bronson, they end up beating them for the tag team championships or something like that. The booking could be a lot better in regards to that, now that you tell me that that's the match that they're plotting for SummerSlam, for sure.
Is this because Roman Reigns is normally in the main event. Is this a night 1 main event worthy match?
No. You have to have your titles as the main events. Unless you have something extra special at a SummerSlam, WrestleMania, or something like night 1 of WrestleMania, putting on Cena, Seth, and Roman made sense because of the caliber of people that were involved in that match. But it diminishes the championships that you have when you put on a non-title match to end the night. It just does.
Right, because you want that moment of someone winning the championship, either retaining or
Yes,
winning, right? So,
absolutely.
all right. So I wanted to get your thought on that since that literally just happened. I just happened as I was kind of waiting to get the show started. I was watching some Twitter, running down Twitter feed, and that actually popped up. So it's pretty good. I think we've talked about this quite a bit. I think we're on opposite sides of this fence. Seth Rollins' injury. Is this a work?
Work.
Why?
Because what they wanted to do is they wanted to throw off everybody that Seth Rollins wasn't going to be cashing in this title a long way down the line. And with Seth, and I called it that Seth and CM Punk would be fighting at SummerSlam. So CM Punk finally gets his flowers and wins the title. And who comes out during a hard fought match but Seth Rollins to take the title away from CM Punk? Or he comes out to take the title from CM Punk, and you got Roman Reigns that comes out, which makes their feud more buoyant down the line. So either way you go with that, that's the angle that WWE should go. But they did a very poor job of like saying that this injury angle with Seth Rollins was like, oh my gosh, he's got to have knee surgery. It's the end of it. And everything. It just played out very badly. So now they're backed into a corner of like, which way do they go?
So it's interesting. He last week he was hosting the Rich Eisen show, and he kept talking about it, talking about his crutches, talking about when they were in Birmingham, I think it was, that he could not, the swelling was too bad, that he couldn't get his knee officially checked out. He was, Becky Lynch has posted video of him this weekend walking around town with his daughter, and he was on crutches. So, I mean, they're putting a lot into this.
Let me go get a camera and get on some crutches and videotape that and say that I got a broken knee or whatever. It's total like rig. It's totally rigged. And I love it because at least they tried something, right?
If it's rigged, I will be super excited because I love Seth Rollins. I want his faction to finally get over and start dominating. So then we can have the good guys versus the bad guys. But until they're at the top, it's not quite the threat we want it to be. They got to have the title.
Do you want me to give you a take? No, I don't want to spoil this for everybody because I was like tracking like where could Triple H, because like I went back to Elimination Chamber, right? Where the greatest turn of all time happened, but it didn't really happen, right? And I'm like, what could they be saving this for? And the greatest turn of all time would be to have Cody Rhodes turn heel at SummerSlam and join Seth Rollins' group as the fourth person, so that they would have The Rock, Paul Heyman, and the new kids all coming up to make their group the strongest, most powerful group ever in WWE history.
Well, that was what I was going to ask you about. Is Cody turning heel? You already went there. We're good.
Cody's turning heel, brother. He's got to.
So I love that idea. I actually, a couple weeks ago, Heyman was on the phone with a guy talking about Plan B. Right? He was on the phone with somebody. I can't remember if it was, I think it was Raw, but he was talking about Plan B. And he was like, no, not yet. We're not ready for that yet. So could Cody be Plan B? Could The Rock be behind this faction? Cody Rhodes, I think I shared that picture with you. Cody Rhodes at SmackDown, as he's going to his contract signing, is wearing the same glasses that The Rock wore when he was wanting to take his soul. He was also wearing the Rolex The Rock gave him as well. And then we have the spot between Cena and Cody Rhodes. And what did you think of that spot on SmackDown?
With Cody and John?
Yeah.
I actually really liked it because it showed some fire from Cody. because Cody's always the golly gee guy or whatever the case may be. And he was like, you're not taking this title shot away from me, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I like the fact that Cody showed some fire. That was nice. That was nice for a change.
You know, what I really enjoyed about that is so when this match first got set back up when Cody won King of the Ring, kind of went, well, how do they make this different? Right? Because the lead up to WrestleMania, we had John Cena, blaming everything on the fans. Cody then saying, nope, I'm doing everything for the fans, right? The fans are my people, right? We've already done that. We did that back and forth. They had a couple good promos against each other and the lead up to WrestleMania. And then we have a really bad match at WrestleMania, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think, and I can't say that I completely said this out loud, but I listened to a podcast that talked about this. The crowd was telling them they needed to flip things up. The crowd was not willing to boo Cena. So
that's where The Rock and Hogan a few years ago, they got that right, because in the middle of the match they flipped. They listened to the crowd and they flipped, and that's what made that a masterpiece.
Right, and this one it didn't have it. The ending with Travis Scott, whatever, nothing about that went well, except for John Cena winning. That's the only thing that went well, is John Cena won. But the rest of that match was just not very good. So how do they make this one better? So obviously they changed the rules up, and they were only going to have one get-together before SummerSlam, probably because of Cena's schedule. And last Friday was it. So what do they do? And we were watching it together. I loved it. I was so excited that they put something new. Cena was putting out a lot of babyface tendencies, trying to be the good guy.
Yeah, Netflix knows, I've been exhausted and everything like that. We just can't do the match and everything.
Hey man, you earned that match. I'm going to give it to you. We just got to do it at another time, but we'll take care of it. I got you. Like, he was being very nice about it as he was delivering bad news, right?
Right.
And then for Cody to then put him through a table. I love the fact that he had the contract with him on the top ropes as he splashes on top of Cena to break the table.
Exactly. That was fantastic.
Why do you have the contract? Why do you have it in your hand? Perfect.
So that's one of the things that's really important, is that in the storytelling, like going back to what I was saying earlier, having The Rock be somebody that comes back and all of a sudden he starts walking down to the ring at SummerSlam, right? He starts walking down to the ring. And for the novice wrestling fan that's just watching the show and like hates The Rock because he didn't show up at WrestleMania, all they're going to suddenly they're like, this is what it was for him, for John Cena. And then to have him actually turn Cody would get the biggest eruption, because the people that feel like they're in the know and the people that aren't in the know, that stadium will just absolutely explode with joy if that happens. But we talked about this the last time when we went into WrestleMania, the exact same thing. What happens when the Rock comes down and there was nothing? So I expect nothing from the WWE at the moment. I'm expecting that John Cena somehow is going to come out and still be the champion. Cody Rhodes is going to go and he's going to start wrestling at NXT or something. And that's the bottom line.
Well, so I've been thinking about it, Ron. Cena still needs to win the title. He needs to retain. And here's why. Cody's going to be leaving shortly to go film a movie. He's going to be gone. Him and Roman are going to film Street Fighter.
That's right.
So if there, and I don't know exactly how soon that is, but if it's shortly after SummerSlam, then in that situation, we don't want, why take it from Cena now if Cody's going to be gone for like a month, right? So they did that with Liv. Liv was gone for about a month, but the tag team titles weren't wrestling with them anyway, so it didn't matter.
Right, didn't matter at all.
So no one noticed, right? If Cena's gone for a couple weeks and wait until the next PLE to wrestle, no one will really like it. It doesn't mind because that's kind of what this retirement tour has been. In between the PLEs, he does some talking. He gets together, the promos, but he only wrestles at the PLEs for the most part, right?
Well, the ultimate thing is you got to visualize what the end game is, right? And the end game has to be for John Cena is it has to be him and The Rock. It has to be because they're 1-1 in their professional careers, and they had such heat many years ago with regards to The Rock leaving and John Cena talking trash and all that sort of stuff. So at the end of John Cena's goodbye tour, it has to culminate with him and The Rock.
So they just funny enough this morning, the Denver Comic-Con Q&A session of John Cena finally got loaded to YouTube. So I watched it this morning, and someone does ask him about what his would it be a great thing for him to wrestle The Rock on his retirement tour, and he totally sidestepped the question. He didn't say no. He just kind of said some other things. So maybe, just maybe, we can get Cody to sell his soul. We can have Cena to turn on The Rock. And we can get Rock and Cena to end the year. Although that would be at a Saturday night main event. I don't know if that holds the greatest weight, but that is the plan for Cena's retirement tour. Is it to end in Boston, Massachusetts at Saturday night's main event in December 12th or somewhere in that range.
What better way to go out than with the greatest Saturday night's main event or the biggest watch Saturday night main event of all time? That would be incredible.
Dude, it'd be amazing.
Yeah. So as we're talking about wrestling and the product right now, I'm gonna steer for a little bit just to go back to Monday Night Raw. What I was really paying attention and watching all of the different things that were working and not working and everything like that. I'm gonna start with Gunther and CM Punk. They are completely two different personalities with regards to how they wrestle, how they talk to each other and stuff like that. And when Gunther just came to the ring, he walked out and he kind of just put water on the fire of CM Punk or whatever and just walked out. It was brilliant. But what happens is Gunther needs a mouthpiece. And the thing that he's missing is Ludwig Kaiser or El Grande Americano. He needs either one of those guys to come out and be his mouthpiece so that he can make himself, that he doesn't have to be the heavy. He doesn't have to be the Paul Heyman and everything like that, because on the mic, Gunther's good, but he's not as good as his wrestling, if that makes any sense.
Gunther's one of the best wrestlers we got right now, baby. So
yeah,
he's my guy. God, I don't know. I had Harmony was playing that game with me. Who would you take, Gunther or this guy? Gunther or that guy? I had a hard she was like Gunther and Penta, and I was like Gunther or Jacob Fatu. I was like, no, Gunther. Gunther, awesome, man.
Gunther puts it down. That's for sure. He puts the chop on you. He's technically sound in the ring. He's a big guy. He used to be a really big guy, and he slendered down to this version of Gunther that he is now. And because he used to be a big guy.
I love the confidence. I love the arrogance. I really want to put the title on that guy for a long time. Because again, the bad guy with the title, and you got all the baby faces chasing him. I don't know if we have enough baby faces to chase him right now, but good versus evil. That's what I want. I want that story. And I think the Jey Uso Gunther story is over. So now we need a new, baby face to go against Gunther. From Raw last night, buddy, we got to talk about that match to end the night. But yeah, the match to end the night. Io Sky and Stephanie Vaquer. Tell the people what happened.
Well, they had another great. I mean, those two have incredibly great chemistry in the ring with each other. For the longest time, Io Sky, she was kind of just background to me. Now that she's in the foreground, she is so technically sound. She's incredibly talented in the ring. And by the way, did I mention how much I miss seeing myself on the video instead of looking at you? But she's really so technically sound inside of the ring that her and Stephanie, they should save that match for a later on down the WrestleMania match and do that for real, because that's a rivalry that could last for eons, because they're both relatively young in their careers.
So my wife happened to be home watching. She was in the room. She'll put her head up from her phone every so often, kind of see what's going on. First part of that match, she was like, what are they doing? I was just like, they're just showing off that they're really good at wrestling.
Yes.
I was like, that's what they're doing. All these reversals and the pins and all that. I was like, they're just showing off how good they are at technical wrestling. And then I was like, this will be a great match. I was like, but just wait. Somebody's going to come and interrupt it and get a disqualification. And she was like, why? And I was like, well, Stephanie's the hottest thing right now going. So you can't really have her lose. And then Io Sky, you can't have her lose before she goes into one of the biggest matches of the year at SummerSlam.
Right.
That would take some of that aura off of her.
Right.
So I was like, you can't have them lose. So somebody's got to come down. And sure enough, Secret Hervis saving the day for me.
That's right.
Came down and messed everything up. And then Chelsea Green gets in there.
Right. And then Rhea Ripley comes in. That was a nice little spot right there. That was nice.
And Naomi. I thought Naomi was going to be the one. Because, again, she teased, she was teasing Stephanie earlier in the show, which led to Stephanie going and challenging Io. So it was like, oh, for me, Naomi's going to show up and she's going to try to whoop on Io to get that edge before their match, right? So I knew she was going to show up. It was cool that she did. It was great to see Rhea come back out. The pop Rhea gets is just, it's crazy. Is there any female wrestler that gets as big a pop right now than Rhea?
No.
As I started to think, I was like, I know Alexa gets a pretty good pop, but it ain't like that. And Stephanie's pop's pretty good, but it ain't quite like that yet.
It was weird that they didn't show Stephanie's entrance. That was one of the things that was weird. They just came right to the ring. They showed Io coming out with the close 4K cam, and then they got them in the ring. That's one of the best things about Stephanie Vaquer's thing, is coming out to the fireworks. I mean, not the firework, but the fire, and then her coming out and doing her one and then doing the thing. So I don't know what angle Triple H is doing, because that's the first time they didn't do that the right way. Additional to that is I love the fact that they have Rhea chasing the title for a while. I love that. And I think that they need to keep her chasing the title even longer. Like, I think that someone like Bianca Belair should come over to Raw, and like just as she's getting ready to get a championship match with like Stephanie Vaquer or something like that, Bianca Belair turns heel, hurts Rhea, so that they have their match at WrestleMania that's been long anticipated. And then you have her have that more fire inside of her, because it's always expected that Rhea is going to win the title. She's so much bigger than Liv Morgan. She's so much bigger than Io Sky. She's so much bigger than all the other girls. She needs somebody that she can really match up with, like a Charlotte Flair, like a Bianca Belair or whatever. What do you think about that?
I totally agree with that. Are they going to take the belt off of Naomi pretty quickly?
It could go either way. It really could. Because, you have at the biggest show of the summer, having Rhea Ripley win, people want to see that moment. But Naomi's earned her stripes now to be a champion that gets a little bit of a run. She really did. Thunder is no joke, right?
No joke, bro. It's about to come down. I was kind of thinking about that because, again, Stephanie gets a title shot at Clash in Paris. And I'm hard-pressed to not say Stephanie going to win no matter who she's facing at Clash in Paris. Because I feel like
the hottest thing. They want
to strap that rocket ship on her, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much how they raised Tiffany Stratton's profiles, getting the belt on her. Mm-hmm. How do we do it? We got to figure out a way to do it. I feel like Naomi, you're like, hey, you got a couple months. There you go. Back to the grind. But I started thinking about that. So let's transition and talk about SummerSlam, because now there's quite a few matches on board so far. Let me pull up my list. I thought I had the list already, but it's not. It's like the dream matches, the remaining dream matches, not what's actually already booked. So we do. We already talked about Rhea. We got Rhea. We got Naomi, and we got Io Sky. Can these women put on another show-stealing match?
I expect that the women's brand, we've been talking about this for a while. And as I'm answering this, I want to thank everybody that's dropping in. Drop a like or comment, just like HighB2406 and our mothership, Sports Nonsense and Whiskey. Drop a like or comment. We're nothing without you on this show. We're just growing. We're wrestling fans just like you. We talk about professional wrestling, primarily WWE. But we're not oblivious to the other brand, which is kicking butt right now too. So can they put on a show that is marketable like the WrestleMania show? I don't think it'll be as good because the expectation is far too high for it. But in the end of the game, I think that it's going to be a fantastic match because like we've been talking about, the women's brand is so much more solid than the men's brand. They're not having a lot of storylines, but they're having great wrestling. As they start to intermingle some of this wrestling with storylines and everything like that, it will definitely start to give better characterization, better possibilities as far as in their ultimate brand. And that's what we're looking to accomplish for sure.
I love what you said about that. I do think the expectation is really high, right? The triple threat at WrestleMania was great. This triple threat here recently with Lyra, Bailey, and Becky was really damn good. And then Io and Rhea, their match was fantastic at Evolution as well. Like it's arguably better than the triple threat at WrestleMania. I mean, they're all really good, right? It's really tough to pick. They're great matches. So how does this one top that when we're expecting it to top it, right? So that's got a tall task. Would you say that this is the night one main event?
It could be, should be. The only thing is that you have two World Heavyweight Championship matches. You got CM Punk versus Gunther, and you got John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. So I don't see how you can't have those two headline both nights.
We already know Cena and Cody is night 2 because The Rock's going to come out or something's happening. Cody's turning heel or something's happening night 2. So that's going to be the main event of night 2. That's going to close out the show and make us go, holy crap, what's happening in Paris now? Like, where are we going from here? Right. So hopefully that's what, again, they know how to break my heart. That's hopefully where we're going.
My fingers are crossed, buddy. My fingers are crossed.
So that should be a really good match. Are we... I can't even say I'm excited about this one. Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill.
I'm not. I could care less, to be honest with you. I think that if they're looking to strap a rocket ship to someone, they give it to Jade. But I could care less because I'm not really that impressed with Jade as a wrestler. I was really excited when she first came over from AEW, but now it's one of those things to where I've seen her wrestle. I've seen her just move around the ring like Andre, and I'm just not thrilled at watching her wrestle.
Like Andre, yeah.
Okay. The prettiest moonsault ever is pretty, but there's not any depth to her. We were talking earlier about the 3 greatest of all time, wrestlers wise. And when you really stack people up, that's where you want to measure your champions. Like, could they break that ceiling? Could they break that glass? And Tiffany's not anywhere near that glass.
She's not. And we don't have to give predictions. We'll do predictions next week. But just kind of a preview. Talking about one of those all-time greats, Becky Lynch and Lyra. The man is awesome. The man really has depth.
She's really raised the title of the Intercontinental title, just her having it.
Oh, it's been like, again, it matters. Like, I actually, I think, again, they've built this story up. These 3 women that have been, fighting with each other all have history. So I think that does play a part into the story because they do have history together. That always ends up being a good story. But Becky, I am constantly waiting to see, what does Becky say next? What does Lyra say next? What does Becky do next? What's Bayley doing? That tag match last night, even the announcers were asking, like, what are they doing? This doesn't look like a tag team. Like, Bayley was all over the place. Kind of seemed like Bayley was trying to get Lyra hurt. I don't know. Maybe.
Right.
Something was off. Something was off about it. And it just adds again to that story, to that piece of like, what's going to happen next? Now they put those stipulations in again. Now we've got a no disqualification match, which could be a street. If you can't get disqualified, you can pretty much do whatever the hell you want. So it's technically a street fight or a brawl or it's all of those matches, because again, they all kind of do the same thing. Like, if you can't get disqualified, then you can do whatever the hell you want. So,
you just said that a couple weeks ago, that what kind is a no disqualification versus a street fight? That's awesome.
it's the same thing, because you can't get disqualified. So technically, all bets are off, right? So I am excited about that. This is one of the matches where I'm like, wow, this should be another good match. Although we've seen this multiple times now, that now I'm getting to that point, like, okay, the expectations are really high. And how does this match get better than the previous ones, right?
I don't think the other two matches were that significantly great to where I have any memory of them saying, oh my gosh, this was great. I think that this one has a chance of having the topper on this one, for sure. I think that being a street fight and having them be able to do whatever they want to do to try to win this match with stuff on the line, i.e. Lyra never gets a chance to fight for the Intercontinental Championship ever.
And that was funny language, because I think the first time it was, you can't challenge me
right
for this belt. The way Becky put it, you can't challenge for the Intercontinental belt
ever. She
didn't say you can't challenge me while I hold this belt. You can't challenge for the IC belt ever. I like that, because I'm tired of Lyra chasing the belt now.
I think that's a fantastic point that she made there, because it puts something at stake, right? Like, I don't care if you like Lyra Valkyria or if you like Becky Lynch or whatever, but at that match, it's like, okay, if Becky loses, how can I imagine the man losing? And then if Lyra loses, she can't ever. She's young in her career. She was the first ever Intercontinental Champion. To never be able to fight for that belt again would be preposterous.
So we're finally going to get the culmination of the last 3 weeks, I think, since Night of Champions. Dominic Mysterio has been hurt, and we've had AJ Styles chasing him around to make sure he's healthy, right?
Yes.
That has been comedic gold. It's been hilarious.
Total gold.
I've loved every moment of that. Last night's culmination of Dominic finally getting cleared, and now we're going to get our match. What are your thoughts?
This is one of those moments to where passing the torch is huge. I think that they should have a fantastic match, one of those bangers that there's a match that we talk about the following Tuesday, and we're saying, oh my gosh, that match stole SummerSlam. But Dominic Mysterio comes out with that classic win. I think that not that we're doing predictions, but I think that this has a chance of being one of those show stealers that really propels both of those men to next level.
I like it. It's time to bring AJ Styles. I know he doesn't got a lot of time left, so it is time to get him back into that main event scene. All right, this one, I love it. We got the Monday Night Raw ladies, Raquel and Roxanne, the champs, against Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. Pure money.
Pure money.
So I love that you've got a rock. And again, I like it when the ladies kind of look right in the ring. Charlotte's a rather large lady. Raquel's a large lady. That fits. Roxanne's smaller. Alexa's smaller. That fits. I think I'm gonna really enjoy the way that this looks in the ring, as well as I think it's gonna be fantastic. I think they're gonna put on a pretty good show.
Yeah, I think Alexa and Charlotte, they either win the titles or they begin a huge feud, because I think that at the end of the day, I think WWE is trying to keep the titles until Liv gets back. I think that's the ultimate play there, is having Liv get back and be able to, well, I'm back, give me the title now, and having that friction within the Judgment Day. But if Alexa and Charlotte win, now they have this dynamic of like, okay, I like you, I don't like you, we're not friends, we're frenemies kind of thing. So it great booking by Triple H and the group right there.
I am excited to watch that match faux show. I will say, I'm trying to go through now. We've got the celebrity match. I think we've talked quite a bit about, because I think they did a pretty good job. They didn't really do anything yesterday, but I guess most of these guys are on SmackDown, except for Logan. Logan's on Raw, but Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton and Jelly Roll.
Yeah, that match, I can't see anybody but Drew winning that match. He needs that match. He absolutely 100% needs that match. So Drew carried WWE through 2024, carried WWE with matches with CM Punk and various other people during the year, and he deserves to get his flowers. He deserves to be able to be that person that's like, okay, now I'm starting to make myself back towards the main event, because after Cena's gone, after Seth Rollins gets the title, they're going to need to have new people to challenge those people. And Seth and Drew have history in the past, so they need to build Drew up to be stronger. Randy's had his time to where he had a chance to fight Cena. He's been involved in a lot of different key classic matches recently, but it's time for Drew to be uplifted, especially with Logan Paul. Also, Logan needs to be lifted as well.
Okay. Yeah, I can't see a way that Jelly Roll doesn't end up winning this match. I just feel like Jelly Roll and Randy are going to win that match.
Ooh.
It'll be that good moment. It'll be the good moment of SummerSlam, right? Bad Bunny won against Damian Priest. Pat McAfee had typically won until he fought Gunther. So I just feel like Jelly Roll is going to win this match. So we'll talk more about that when we get to
next week. Next week. Yep.
This one is going to be a complete banger. Super excited. It's Solo Sikoa and Fatu in a steel cage match, baby.
That's what I'm talking about. That's going to be straight violence.
I'm going to beat your ass from post to post, coast to coast, live on NBC.
But you also got outside interference possibilities. It's going to be a great match, but I think this is going to be a showcase for the Bloodline doing what the Bloodline does.
And so I'm sure there's still a couple more matches that will be on board, because they haven't. Again, it's 2 nights. It's filling up quick now, because now you're going to get Roman. We talked about it. Roman, Jay, Braun, and Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. That should be a banger of a match too. It should be fun. This one I know is going to hurt your heart, because one of your guys is losing. Gunther versus CM Punk.
You know, both of those guys are my dudes. Both of them are. I mean, Gunther is like amazing. I called that a long time ago. I wanted him to have the longest world heavyweight title reign of all time. You got CM Punk. CM Punk's my dude. He's my forever, always dude. But if you're going to give CM Punk a title, now's the time.
Yeah, he ain't got a lot of time left.
Yeah, now's the time.
I feel like he's gotten his body back into a position that when he wrestles, he puts on a pretty good show. He does. But how much longer is that going to go for, right? I think he's 48. I think he's up there with Cena.
Yeah, he's 48 years old for sure.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I'm 45 and I don't think I could do all that. So
Yeah, I walk around the block. I walk around the block, and I'm exhausted. What are you talking about? Getting in the ring and having a long match.
I'm excited for this. Both of these guys are great entertainers. Good versus evil. They've got to. They get CM Punk came back. They got to put a belt on him.
Yeah,
they've got to put a belt on him. It's got to
Yeah.
happen sometime soon. Like they're. Unfortunately, there's not enough belts to go around, but he got to get one of them. He maybe doesn't have to have it a long, long time, but he's got to have it. So, and then we got the main event of night 2, John Cena and Cody Rhodes, and there's so much that's going to happen. But with that culmination of Cody Rhodes forging John Cena's signature, which is not legally binding, guys. Let's be honest.
Well, his hand was on the pin.
Not legally binding. It's a street fight, baby.
That's right.
Which I love, because then I think that's maybe the right way to go. Because last year at WrestleMania, when The Rock came in and they were doing that Bloodline Rules street fight, that fit, right? He didn't have to do a lot of wrestling. He didn't have to do a lot of stuff on the ropes, or he didn't have to do anything. They went right outside, and it was just brawling. These two guys could brawl and make it entertaining, and you won't have to worry about the technical wrestling aspect, which didn't look great last time they got together.
Right.
So I think that's where matches like that, the Ethan Page Ricky Saints match, right? There wasn't a lot of wrestling. It was a lot of just beating the hell out of each other.
Right. Straight brawl. Yes.
I think these guys can pull that off, make this an entertaining match. And then, again, the outcome, how do we get to the outcome, will be what everybody's on the edge of their seat for. When is it going to happen? What's going to happen? Who's coming? Somebody's coming out. It's got to happen, right? So, now, I heard some rumblings. People were kind of connecting the dots. The Rock and Travis Scott show back up. Travis Scott's been holding that hardcore belt. Hardcore belt is usually during street fights, right?
That's right.
Hardcore, right?
Right.
I'm not so sure about that, but that's what people were trying to put those. I mean, again, that's what we do. We speculate. We try to connect the dots and what we want to see happen. As long as The Rock shows up, I don't care if Travis Scott's there or not. The Rock just needs to be there. He needs to show up. That we need to get the payoff from Elimination Chamber. We haven't gotten it yet, and there's not too much time left to get that payoff.
Man, I realized something that WWE could have done if CM Punk was to win the title from Gunther and they go to the Crown Jewel event. They could have had CM Punk versus John Cena for the ring. That would have been a cool way to end their feud.
Ooh.
Who gets the ring, right? Like at the end of the thing, who gets the ring? There's just so many different ways that WWE could book a thing. And I just, for those of you guys watching, we really appreciate you watching. Drop a like or comment again. Tell your friend. We like talking to me and Pinky. We're becoming like besties of friends or whatever. So we can talk to each other all day long. But the more you put out here and have more of us to talk to and all that sort of stuff, the better this show's going to get, because I like to run my mouth and I hate looking at Pinky. So the next time, Pinky's going to be the one in the background and I'm going to be on the front so I can get all the ladies back, just like Ravish and Rick Rude used to do back in the day, ladies.
No, I'm going to make it even nicer on you, Ron. I'm just going to put pictures of the SummerSlam matches up while we give our predictions. That way you won't have to see my face at all. You'll be good.
I like it. Anything to get you off screen, I'm good with it.
Man, I think you're starting to turn heel. God, what a dick. So, SummerSlam, 2 weeks away. I'm excited. What time's your wife come back on Sunday?
6:30. So I gotta get up to Denver. Yeah, it's prime time, right?
Yeah, you're toast on that one.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to watch it by yourself, but we'll be together on Saturday. So Saturday is gonna be powerful, and Sunday I'll be watching it till 2 a.m, whatever I got to do. So it's all good.
Well, if you are a big wrestling fan, it was announced this week the WWE just made a deal with Fandango, and you can watch SummerSlam in a theater.
With all your other friends and everything like that, yes.
Regal Theaters. We have a Regal here. I'm on the list. I'm supposed to get an email if they have it. You get for a 2-night ticket, it's $65. You do get a t-shirt. So
oh wow, that's cool.
Not bad. So I'm thinking about maybe trying that out if for night 2, if they have it showing here at the Regal here. So we'll see.
Man, that would be superstar dope. But we do this thing because we love it, and we really appreciate everybody that's checking in, whether it be live or on a future commentary. But we got some things to say real quick before we go, and that is that if you're not really watching the WWE product and you're sitting up there celebrating bad booking and everything like that, we got 2 words for you. Suck it!
Suck it!
See you next week.
See you, everybody.